Hello, welcome to Library Connection. I'm Mandy Cantrell from the B.B. Comer Memorial Library here in Sylacauga. Before I get started, I want to thank Chris and everyone here at TV47 for helping us put on our program. Today, I'm so glad to have Ryan Coleman is joining me today. He is the owner at Difference Architecture. And Ryan, thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Great, great. And I will say I'm so glad that you and your family have come to our city. I'm a hometown girl, and I'm so glad y'all have moved here to live and work and be involved.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Well, several years ago, we were living in Atlanta, and we were starting to have children, and we realized that the cost of child care in Atlanta was about the same cost as Jessica working, and so she came home one day and was like, we would love to move closer to our family, her parents and my parents, but also so that she could stay home with our children while they were that age and that young. So we had a house in Sylacauga that we moved into that our family had owned for a long time, and honestly at that time couldn't really sell it. The housing market wasn't great around here at that time, so we moved into it. I worked in Birmingham for about 5 years with Dick Pickford at Architecture Works and commuted, and Jessica stayed home with our children. And yeah, that's kind of what brought us to Sylacauga.
Well, I am so glad. Now, I know you have some ties here, grandparents, parents, things like that. Who is your family?
I do. So my grandparents were Bill and Virginia Coleman. I called Bill was Pop to us, and he was the State Farm man here for a really long time. And my grandmother was a school teacher at Sylacauga High School.
I've heard a lot of stories and things about them, how wonderful they were, and they really added to our community.
And my dad, I'll probably get this wrong, but my dad graduated from Sylacauga High School in 1973. He's Billy Coleman.
Yes, yes. Now, they're not here right now, are they?
They're not. They live actually on Lake Martin, but my dad is a retired superintendent of education in Coleman County. My mother's a retired administrator. So yeah, they're retired and living on Lake Martin, and they're just about an hour away. We can still use them at times for child care, and and our kids get to grow up close to them. Yeah.
That's wonderful. And I know your dad, we were just talking before we came on the air, your dad spoke at a group at my church the other day, and everyone said he is an excellent speaker. It's just so much fun to be around.
Dad's gift is public speaking. And,
wow.
Yep.
Well, that's great. Well, we are glad that you have come to our city here in Sylacauga. What is your business now? I know you're the owner.
I'm an architect, so I own a practice called Difference Architecture. We're a small boutique practice, and right now it's just myself and Madge Ellis. Madge is a homegrown girl that graduated from Auburn as well, and she's probably going to be moving on here pretty soon. She's gotten married to Phil Pullen, so now Madge is a Pullen, and they're going to be moving to San Diego, but we've had a blast working with each other, and she's been a huge asset to Difference Architecture.
I'm sure she learned a lot under you.
Well, I hope so. I hope we were able to teach her enough to where she can move to her next phase in life and use all those lessons.
She will, she will. Now, you have an office here, right?
I do.
But you're moving into another.
Currently working out of my house while we renovate the modern cleaners here. And we purchased that property about 6 or 7 months ago, and we're currently in the renovation stage of that, trying to bring it sort of back to what it was before, and highlight some of the cool things about that building. A lot of signage on that building that we've revealed by removing some add-on pieces, and we're going to try to bring all of that back. I'm a little worried that people are going to start dropping their clothes off instead of, because we're going to try to keep all the signage the same as it was back when it was modern cleaners, but looking forward to getting in there.
That is so nice. I like that you want to keep the old, the history, but then make it new.
Absolutely. I mean, and that kind of rolls into one of the things I participate in here in Sylacauga. Is I'm on the Historic Commission, and I think it's important to tell the story of the history of the building, and not just what we're trying to do with it, but what it was, and so that when people drive past that, they can remember times when maybe they dropped their clothes off with their grandparents or shared an experience there. I think that's important to maintain.
I remember dropping clothes off at Modern Cleaners. That is great, though. Is there a lot of work to be done? I'm sure, because the building sat empty for a while.
That building sat empty. I'm guessing for the better part of 20 years. And so there's a lot of work to be done. But the good thing about it is architects typically love that industrial, raw feel to a space. So we're going to bring it down to its bare bones, but there's not a lot of finishing to do after that. We're going to kind of live with the fact that it's an industrial space, and we're going to use it that way.
Well, great. That is awesome. Well, I'm glad you chose to have your own business right here. I'm just thrilled that you and your wife, Jessica, works at the middle school. Is that
She
correct?
does. Jessica is the middle school guidance counselor at Nichols Lawson, and she's also does some baton teaching at the rec here.
Yes.
In addition to that, she's also the Auburn University majorette coach, so she's very busy.
She is very busy, and even with your kids, even if she didn't have all of that,
That's
just
right.
having two children.
That's right. I have two kids. One of them, the boy, 10 years old, is Burke, and my little girl is Highland Marie. She's 7. They're both a lot to manage if you didn't have a job.
Oh.
And so Jessica has 3, and I have 2, and but they're good kids.
Gosh, yes. I have to tell you, Jessica's brought the kids in to get books. Ever since I think I saw her right after y'all moved here. Bert came to story time, and he was just a little thing, and your daughter wasn't even born yet.
That's right. When we moved to Sylacauga, Burke was 2.
Right.
And Highland had yet to be even thought of.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jessica loved that time with the kids when they were that age, and being able to go to the library and have story time and do all those things. I know she would probably tell you she misses it.
I know.
Now, but yeah, it was a great time in our lives.
Well, you just have a sweet family.
Thank you very
much. A real sweet family. Oh, we're going to pause for a commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Ryan.
Senior Adult Activity Center offers the senior citizens in the Sylacauga and surrounding areas lots of fantastic activities throughout the week. Sewing, ladies bridge, quilting, game-o-rama, ceramic classes, bingo, travel club, and lots more. It's all at the Maxie Veazey Senior Adult Activity Center located next to the J. Craig Smith Community Center in Sylacauga. Don't spend any more time alone. Get out, make new friends, and have fun.
Sylacauga's best kept secret? No more. Harvey's on Noble is the place to go for the area's best food and drinks. Whether you're in the mood for steak, burgers, salad, seafood, or dessert, Harvey's on Noble will not disappoint, and the atmosphere is perfect for catching the big game or just relaxing after work. Harvey's is open for dinner Wednesday through Saturdays, so round up the family and we'll see you at Harvey's on Noble, downtown Sylacauga.
Great. What am I going to do now?
Time to visit Brown's Auto Collision.
No problem at all. We've contacted your insurance company and we can get you back in the original condition right away. And I just want to remind you that all of our work is covered by a lifetime warranty. We're done.
Wow, that was easy and looks great.
Brown's Auto Collision.
Where quality is no accident.
Hello, welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Ryan Coleman, who is the owner at Difference Architecture here in Sylacauga. We talked about renovating your office at Modern Cleaners, or your new office to be there. And we talked about your involvement. You said you're on the Historical Commission.
I am. I serve on the Historic Commission with Miss Linda Dixon and a lot of others. And I love being a part of that board. Miss Dixon she's a wealth of knowledge about the community.
Yes,
she really is. And we really have focused here lately on some grants that we received from the Historic Commission, and we use those grants to repair the fence in the old Sylacauga Cemetery.
Oh, good.
But that's a project that the Historic Commission is going to continue to look at. There's been some vandalism in the cemetery where people have knocked over some markers and repairing those, and it's hard to repair something that was 1830s and 1820s, and so trying to look at that area and see how maybe we can prevent some of the vandalism, but also build it up. And there's a lot of history sitting right there in that cemetery about why Sylacauga is located here, and we want to preserve as much of that as possible.
Great. Now you're involved in some other things too, the commercial?
I am. I'm on the Commercial Development Authority. Brian Taunton is the chair there, and we've really worked hard to sort of bring that back. It went kind of dormant there for a few years, and Brian has worked really hard about bringing all of that back and doing some things that are maybe a little outside the box that what the Commercial Development Authority would typically do. We purchased a piece of property actually up on 280 next to the Allen gas station.
Yes.
With the purpose, right now you probably know it's got a huge hill on it, and it's kind of an obstacle right now from a Commercial Development Authority standpoint, but there's a lot less property available on 280 than people think. When you drive up and down 280, you think, wow, there's plenty of space, but there really isn't in the city limits. So our plan is to knock that hill down next to the Allen store and create a piece of commercial development that can happen there to grow our city and bring tax revenue.
That is great. That's what we need, more business
Absolutely.
here in Sylacauga.
Absolutely.
Wow. And you're also on the school foundation.
I am. I was asked to be on the school foundation, which is a unbelievable thing for a school system to have.
Yes.
You don't see that. My dad was a former superintendent, and so I'm fairly familiar with finances and the struggles that teachers have in classrooms. And having a foundation that that can give grants to teachers and put money back into the classrooms is really unique. We're very fortunate to have that, and of course, Miss Sprayberry is unbelievably good at her job.
She is wonderful.
Yes, and you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Steve and how much he meant to the foundation. And he'll be missed, but we will carry the torch for Mr. Sprayberry.
Yes, yes. Well, that's great. Well, you are so involved in so many things. That is wonderful.
It at times is taxing. I got to find time to draw buildings at some point.
True.
But I do love being involved, and one of the things I really love doing is tennis. That's kind of my past. Jessica and I both played tennis prior to going to Auburn at Central Alabama.
Yes.
Now, Jessica was a much better tennis player than I was. But I really love that sport, and my brother, he actually took over Randy Carter's position when he retired.
Oh, really?
So he's the tennis pro now. Wesley's had some health issues in the past few months, and it's limited his time on the tennis court. But he's getting better, and he's coming back really strong. And but I'm involved with the tennis program at the high school now. Coach Cindy Cleveland is our head coach, and she has 3 assistants: myself, Jonathan Douglas, and Nick Cleveland.
Yeah.
And everybody involved is just really passionate about the tennis program, and we really want to bring it back to where it was. I know there's a rich history of tennis in this community.
There is, yes.
And I love being a part of that.
That's great. Yeah. Wow. Well, you guys are so busy, and thank you so much again. So I know you have enjoyed living in Sylacauga, I'm assuming.
We really have. I'll be quite honest. When we moved here, the intent was to live in the house that our family has while we look for something closer to Birmingham. I mean, to be quite honest with you, you usually don't find architects in towns outside of urban centers. Yeah, that's right, because the business is there. Yeah. But to be quite honest, we made great friends here, and it didn't take long for us to realize that we weren't going to be making that move towards Birmingham. And so we do believe Sylacauga is a special place. It's uniquely situated in our state, and from an architecture practice standpoint, maybe it didn't make the most sense. Most people might look at me and say, well, that doesn't make any sense. But Sylacauga has to go to Birmingham, they have to go to Montgomery, they have to go to Auburn to find architects. So why not give a community like this an opportunity to use someone closer by and not have to go to these places to get their services.
True. Yeah. And now we don't have to be in person to communicate, really.
Correct.
I know COVID brought all of that even out more, but you can fax and email
Absolutely.
everything. So
Absolutely. And even Madge, Madge was working with me. She moved to Pensacola during COVID.
Yes.
Well, we were still able to work together even though we're in Pensacola, and so it's changed. COVID changed a lot of things, in some ways for the better. When it comes to how we can work in separate places.
Yes.
So
when you're forced to learn a new way, you just do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right. Well, that is exciting. I know you're also involved with the East Alabama Rural Innovation and Training Hub, which is at the old Avondale. Most people, that's a long name, but it's where the old Avondale building.
It is. The Earth Project is, it's been going on for about 3 years, and it's got tremendous leadership Dr. Lacey at the County Board of Education and Margaret Morton have really pushed hard for this project, and I think it's a win for everybody when this project comes to fruition. At the very minimum amount of this project, we are going to get the site cleaned up.
Yes.
And that starts in December. The contract has already been awarded to the low bidder, and
good.
we expect bulldozers to be on the site sometime in December.
Oh, that's great.
To start pushing everything over. Of course, there's huge plans for that site. The East Alabama Rural Innovation and Training Hub is really designed to tackle workforce development needs across the region, not just Sylacauga, but across the region. And I hope every building that's on the master plan gets built exactly the way that Dr. Lacey and Ms. Morton would like it to. But starting in December, this community is going to get a huge win by just seeing the debris and the cleanup happen. Really looking forward to all of that project for sure, but really looking forward to seeing the building that's standing out there get knocked down.
And that's not as easy to do as people, you don't just one day decide to go in and clean it up.
Well, no, and that's a good point. People, the governor actually gave us $1.75 million for the cleanup or to start this project. What people don't realize is it's not as simple as applying that immediately to the cleanup, that there's a lot of things that are involved. And one thing we had to do is get a level 2 assessment of the site. It's an industrial site, an old textile mill, so finding out what contamination is present in the soil was step 1. And then step 2, after we find out the level of contamination, putting a set of bid documents together to direct the contractor to clean it up, because this is state money, so it has to go through a public bid process.
Okay.
And that's long and drawn out. It's not as quick as most people would like, but we are at the point now where the project's been awarded, and we're going to get moving dirt really soon.
Wow. Well, we will look forward to that in about a month. That's about a month or so. That'll be
right.
great. Yeah. Well, we're going to pause for another commercial break, and we'll be right back and talk some more with Ryan Coleman.
The Maxie Veazey Senior Adult Activity Center offers the senior citizens in the Sylacauga and surrounding areas lots of fantastic activities throughout the week. Sewing, ladies bridge, quilting, game-o-rama, ceramic classes, bingo, travel club, and lots more. It's all at the Maxie Veazey Senior Adult Activity Center located next to the J. Craig Smith Community Center in Sylacauga. Don't spend any more time alone. Get out, make new friends, and have fun.
Sylacauga's best kept secret? No more. Harvey's on Noble is the place to go for the area's best food and drinks. Whether you're in the mood for steak, burgers, salad, seafood, or dessert, Harvey's on Noble will not disappoint, and the atmosphere is perfect for catching the big game or just relaxing after work. Harvey's is open for dinner Wednesday through Saturdays, so round up the family and we'll see you at Harvey's on Noble, downtown Sylacauga.
Great. What am I going to do now?
Time to visit Brown's Auto Collision.
No problem at all. We've contacted your insurance company and we can get you back into original condition right away. And I just want to remind you that all of our work is covered by a lifetime warranty. We're done.
Wow, that was easy and looks great.
Brown's Auto Collision.
Where quality is no accident.
Hello, welcome back to Library Connection. I'm talking with Ryan Coleman, who is the owner of Difference Architecture here in Sylacauga. And we're so glad their family has joined us here in Sylacauga several years ago. And I know we were talking about the EARTH program, East Alabama Rural Innovation and Training Hub. I have to read that every time.
It's difficult.
That is a huge project, and I look forward to that starting. Yeah.
Well, that project ultimately, you know, we're looking at a 30-acre site, getting it completely cleaned, the soil mitigated, and then if we had a 2-hour-long show, I could go into the intricacies of what that project is actually going to do. But huge project for this community in this region, and the partnerships in that project extend way beyond Sylacauga and partners all across the state that really would like to see that project happen. And workforce development is a huge thing across the state
Yes.
now, and this project is we're really sort of picking ourselves up by our bootstraps and attacking it at a local level, which is gaining the attention from our state partners.
Good.
Yep.
Good. And I know it is several years it will take.
Several
to do all
years.
of
I
it.
mean, you know, projects in general, construction projects from design to construction can take up to 2 years on a lot of things. And I know our city right now is going through some ideas about future projects, and that people should understand that those things have patience and grace, because these
Right.
things just don't happen overnight, and it's just something you have to plan for. But yeah, I would expect to see a lot of things happen on that project over the next 3 to 5 years.
That's
Yeah.
great. I
Yeah.
look forward to that. That's great. Now, I know I looked, I think on your Facebook page, maybe your business Facebook page, and you were involved in Rural Studio.
I
What was that?
So Rural Studio is a unique program at Auburn University, where the university takes the students out of the studios at Auburn and put them in Hale County. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with Hale County, but Hale County is one of the poorest counties in the state.
Really?
So they take the architecture student, which a typical architecture student is a private school kid, probably out of state, and so they're moving to Alabama, which is already a little bit of a culture shock, right?
Yes, it is.
And then you take them out of the classroom environment and put them in the poorest county in the state, and then you're assigned a client. In the second year, when I was participating, because it was a second year program, you did it as a team. So I was out there with 16 others, and we built a house for a lady named Willie Bell. Willie Bell's conditions that she was living in, I really can't even explain those conditions. She desperately needed a house, not for any cosmetic reasons, but mostly just to keep the rain off. And so going through those experiences with clients that typically don't have architects, or would never need an architect in their life, and listening to her, understanding what her needs are, then applying those into a building concept and design has just been, it was incredibly rewarding for us as students.
Sure.
Willie Bell got a house at the end of the day, and she was very grateful, but the lessons that the students take away from that are just mind-blowing. And also working on a team. Architects typically are work well by themselves.
Okay, yeah.
They're kind of in their head all the time, so being forced to work on a team really prepares you to go out into the real world and work in a firm. And so I did that in my second year. In my thesis year, I was a part of the 20K house program, where we tried our best to design and build a house for $20,000 to meet the minimum grant requirement that a person could get from the state of Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Of course, most of the contractors listening will say, well, you can't build a house for $20,000 alone. And so we realized that, but that was the goal. So by making that the goal, we were able to do as much as we can with as little as possible. So really incredible program. I would encourage anybody that's interested in architecture or to go to Hale County. It's the largest collection of modern architecture, I would say, anywhere in the Southeast, and it's out in Hale County.
In Hale County?
Yes.
Wow, that's
Yes.
And what a difference you made in the lives of those people.
Well, I believe that, but also the difference they made in ours. I mean, especially those students who maybe never experienced poverty, didn't really know what that looks like, and they gained that experience, and now they can take that out into the world and make a difference there as well. So, incredible program.
That's a great time in your life to learn that too, when you're about to
Absolutely.
launch into your own career. And I guess it's not all building huge buildings and skyscrapers.
No, it's not. I mean, I think that's one thing it teaches you is you can go to New York after you graduate from architecture school and work in New York. You can move to a rural community and you can make a difference in both places. And architecture shouldn't just be for people who can afford it, that we should be able to share our talents with those who maybe in an unconventional way need it. And that's sort of what we're trying to do at Difference Architecture here, as well as we want to become a citizen architect, which is something that Samuel Motby, who started the Rural Studio, really focused on developing the need or the want in the student to become that citizen architect for their community.
To make a difference.
To make
I
a
don't know if
difference.
that's where you got the name from, but it fits.
Right,
That
it
is
does.
wonderful.
It does.
What other projects can you share that you're doing around here?
Yeah, so we've worked a lot with the city of Childersburg, but we just finished last year the Water Sewer Gas Board building in downtown Childersburg, and we're working on some other ones right now, some municipal buildings for the city, and they've been a great partner with us, and we really look forward to continuing that relationship with them. There's a good group of people there.
That's wonderful. That's close to home, too.
It is. It's close to home. I mean, that's the idea there is it's not just Sylacauga, but Childersburg, Talladega, all of these communities that typically have to go to the urban centers to find architects. I would love an opportunity, to talk with them because we can provide that service.
And they can come see you face to
They
face.
can, and I can be there in 10, 15 minutes.
Email is
absolutely.
great, even FaceTime, but really talking with somebody I
Absolutely.
think makes a difference. Yeah, we do whatever we can. I know that works. Well, I change the subject. I have to tell the story about your son Burke and Jessica. They used to come to story time, and I will say, I'll forward several years down the road, a few years later, Burke and a friend of his, Jack, were in the library, and one of them stopped and said, "Oh, Miss Mandy, do you know that we met at story time?" And I said, "Oh, I do remember that," and they became friends. So I'm so glad you're in our community, and thank you for being a part of us too at the library.
Absolutely, we love being here, and thank you for the opportunity to come in and talk to you this morning.
I'm glad to hear of all you have going on, and we'll be looking at the tennis team, the historical commission, and difference architecture and development, the
Commercial Development Authority.
development.
Yes.
A lot of things going on. Thank you again, and thank you for your wife being here and very involved in the schools and everything y'all do. I appreciate it very much, and we'll be looking, like I said, for all these projects coming up. I look forward to Avondale being cleaned up. I know everybody has for a long time. I know it takes a good while, but I appreciate what you've done, and thank you for being here, and thank you so much for joining me at Library Connect.